Hello everyone, you are welcome back to my channel. And for those who has been checking on me, asking me, Unique, we've not been seeing your video, I just want to say thank you to you guys. You guys are the reason why I am actually back. I'm here to kind of give you a gist what has been happening, how it was for me, and the life of a GP registrar, what it means to be a new doctor in the NHS and the life of a GP registrar in the UK. How am I coping? How are things with me? And what are the tips that can help you cope with your role if you're new into the NHS or you're new into your GP training? So you're welcome back. And if you're meeting me newly for the first time, my name is Dr. Unique. I am an international medical graduate, a Nigerian trained medical doctor, but I'm currently practicing in the UK. So you're welcome back to my channel. So, like I said in my previous video, I was able to get into the GP training in August 2023. I moved into the UK, obviously, to 2022, and I did a 1 year of a non-training post as an RMO, where I shared a lot of my journey about being an RMO. After that, the RMO job, or while I was doing the RMO job, that was when I wrote the MSRA exam, which I've talked about, maybe steps that can help you in securing a place. You know, there's another video that talked about everything about MSRA and how to prepare. So, but I just want to tell you how it was for me as a GP registrar, what really happened to me. So initially when I came into the UK, I worked in the private sector, like you all know. Then I started the NHS role. I did do some locum in the NHS, which was really okay. But the truth is that it's a different thing when you're a locum doctor than when it's now your home and you are doing training, because everything counts, everything goes into the portfolio. So for the GP training, there are 3 things that needed to happen. You know, the first thing is for you to get used to the 14 fish portfolio, which I'll make a different video on 14 fish portfolio. Then get used to the clinical practice, the NHS if you are new, and then settle every other part of your life, which is family, your kids if you've got kids and all that, your spouse. So let me start from the NHS, settling into the NHS. So because I was new, what I did is I used the first 6 months of my posting to face, understanding how the NHS work and understanding how my portfolio worked. So I didn't do any exam in the first 6 months. In the first 1 year of a GP training, you can't do any exam. So that 1 year is just all about settling. But remember that the first year of your training, you are required to do an audit. So I didn't even do an audit. I think I did an audit in the first 6 months also. So what I did is focus on understanding the NHS. Because I was in psychiatry, I had a good support, and I also did my first audit because my clinical supervisor was really very good. I'm going to be making another video on doing an audit in the UK. So these are the tips you need to cope. When you come into the NHS newly, it can really be a lot. Trust me, it can be a lot. Especially if you start in a core medical postings like acute medicine, A&E, and all that. So it can be a lot because you've not understood the system, the use of computer. You're not conversant with that. You're not conversant with the way the NHS job schedule is. So what I want to tell you is that one of the greatest tips that helped me is resilience and determination. So when you come into the NHS, come in there that you are going to cope. Come with this positive energy, this smile, this all zealous to learn, all zealous to ask questions. And my dear, use your Google. Before you ask anybody any question, to avoid the embarrassment, because some of your colleagues may not be really very supportive like others. Others may be quite supportive, but others may not be. So for you to not be embarrassed, what I tell people is use your Google. When I see a word I don't know, because sometimes people that train here will know they use a lot of short forms and all that. When I don't know it, the first thing I do is I quickly Google in my computer. Then if I can't find an answer, I ask questions. So make Google your friend. Ask Google a lot of questions when it means in medical term, what is this? So, and then obviously, you can always pay attention using body language. You could know those colleagues that are helpful, that are willing to help you, that are happy to help you. Do not hesitate to ask them questions. Always meet them, always ask them questions. One of the other things that helped me is that down to details, I read people's notes. Even when I was a medical student, it helped me a lot. So when I come I come to work. If I'm to start work 9, I come in early. Before that 9, no responsibility will be given to me. So I come in early at that initial time. I go through notes. Especially when I started that acute medicine posting, this was really very helpful. I went through note of when junior doctors are called to review patients, how they approach it, because this is a different system to know how people are doing. It doesn't mean that people are quite right, but I tend to pick a lot of things by going through my colleagues' notes. Both my colleagues at the same level and my colleague at higher level. I see what they do. I see what they look out for. So because you need to understand that as a doctor in Nigeria, you are trained in a different way. We are from like a little bit, or if you are from Africa, a little bit poor resource country, and we do a lot of things that probably, like when a patient comes in with a certain symptom, you may not bother MRI, you may not bother CT, you may not bother thinking about a lot of things because they are not available. But here in UK, almost everything is available, so you really have to think and know what to do. So I read through people review, people clicking to see, and it really helped me a lot. And I do ask a lot of questions. If I ask you a question, you give me a negative energy, I don't care. You have to develop thick skin when you're new into the NHS system. When people say things, do not let them get to you, because some people are not as nice as. Do you understand? So I remember one of the occasions where I was working with someone. I finished my work and I decided to stay back and tidy up, go through notes, make sure that everything is okay with what I've done. And someone come to me and said, Unique, how many patients have you seen today that you're still here after work? I just smiled and I'm like, well, I love to attend to my portfolio and do something. So outside work, I find a way to get it. But there are things where people could talk to you, could get your skin. Don't let people get to you. Don't let people get to you. Block your heart and open your mind to improve and constantly learn. So those are the things. So the first 6 months, things are achieved. I tried to adapt into the NHS. I did my audit, my first clinical audit in that first 6 months, and I tried to understand the portfolio and did my interim ESR review. So these are the things you should do if it's possible. If it's not possible for you to do your audit, maybe you are doing a hospital posting, it's all right. But you can do it in the second month, because every year, what you require as a GP trainee, for every single year, you have to do a clinical improvement project. But you can do the QIA for first and the third year, but make sure you do a QIP in the second year or when you are in a GP setting. Some people do QIP in the first year if they happen to do GP early, depends on what you want. So at first 6 months, concentrate on understanding the environment which you find yourself, especially if you are coming from abroad. So try to understand the environment you came into. You get what I mean? Then understand the portfolio, like get to understand the 14 fish. One of the things that helped me, I went through the YouTube, I searched for a lot of things about the 14 fish portfolio, and I got a lot of useful reflections on 14 fish. Maybe what I'm going to do, I will try and make a video where I bring in my portfolio after my first ESR. So good news, actually. I love to share. You get a lot to share good news and spread positive vibes. So in my first ESR, like my first ESR, after the interim ESR, my first ESR, what I just got was, panel, congratulate you for your outstanding feedback. I got outstanding feedback despite the challenges. Were there days I was overwhelmed, just in case, if you're at that stage? Yes, there were days I was really overwhelmed. There was the days I questioned my decision because it's so hard, especially when I was doing acute medicine posting. The rota is back to back. It's just about service delivery, and you ask yourself where you are. But I want you to know that things always get better. At the moment, I'm in GP setting, and I found the GP setting really very okay because you are handled as a trainee, you have your daily brief, you discuss with your supervisor. So if you have a good supervisor, you really enjoy the GP setting. I'm going to make a video on a GP setting and system 1. But what I am just saying is that if you're new into the NHS, have an open mind. You will be fine. Even if you're doing a kind of a posting, like one of these interior medicine posting that you don't have time, take a deep breath. The good thing is that this 6 months will come and go. So that's about that. So that's one of the things that helped, that I know how I coped. Then in my second 6 months, I didn't do an audit because I've done an audit already. It was an acute medicine posting. I concentrated in coping, understanding medicine. And acute medicine posting was really very good, despite the fact that it was very stressful. But it broadened my mind about the clinical presentations that patients come with in the UK. So it was a very useful posting, made me read a lot and understand a lot of medical things here that are common here. So those are the things that I did in my second 6 months. Then, why do you know those? I tried, especially when I was in the psychiatric post, I volunteered for teaching because I had interest in education, which I've made the video before. So I had interest in education. I did some volunteering, and then I applied to do an extended ITP in medical education. That will be, I think there's another video I put up regarding extended ITP in medical education. So at the moment, this is my second year in the training, but instead of doing this 6 month posting that is going to end this February, I'm going to do this posting for 1 year. It's what I want. So as I speak to you, I'm waiting for students for my lectures. So I teach medical students on Monday and on Thursdays. That's what I normally do, and then do my clinical work. So it's like a 50%. That's why it's going to extend my training. If I intend to get a diploma, it's going to extend my training for 1 year. So at the moment, things are much better. I've adapted into the NHS more. I'm beginning to find a pattern and find joy, So for the GP setting, for those of you in GP setting too, how are the ways you cope? one of the ways you cope is this. I want you to know that I know there are people who are not good, like who are not okay, who are not supportive. But the truth remains that one thing I notice about the NHS is that your energy will definitely be returned back to you. Come in with this positive energy, come in energized, no matter how tired you are, no matter the challenges you're facing at home front, do not let them to show in the work front. When you come to work, you've come to work. No matter what it is, drop it and come to work. Here, nobody entertain anything other than productivity. So come with that mindset at work, and that's what I do. So that brings me to other things. There are other challenges that you will face at the initial time if you've not started driving and all that, going to work, the buses. That happened to me also, because in my first 6 months, I was struggling with driving test, and it was really difficult. I'll make another video about driving. There's just whole lot of video to make, just the time to make them. So if you are struggling with driving also, that will be another issue, because your bosses will be stressing you. So try to still take annual leave in between and handle those driving issues, because if you start driving, life become easier, you become more relaxed. So sort out driving. Then in terms of family, the family front can also be challenging if you have smaller children and all that. And supportive spouse always give a way for that. Always try to explain and communicate, because here in the UK we do not have time to communicate. Last night I was having a discussion with my husband, and I mentioned to him about something that was going on in the home I've noticed. And my husband was like, so why are you telling me that? And I'm like, I just noticed it 3 days ago, and I've been looking for time for us to talk. So, because sometimes when I'm just coming in, he's going to work. That's how the life here happens. So try to still make sure that you create time to have important discussion with your spouse. Explain to them how things are. So when is the best time to write AKT? In GP training, you have three ways you're going to be assessed. The portfolio, that is the work-based assessment, your AKT, which is really a very challenging exam, and your SCA. So the AKT, usually you can only write it once you finish your first year. The next appropriate date, usually if you started training August, you could write October or January. Then if you started training February, you could write April, or October, depending on what you want. So AKT, always try at the first 6 months, do not worry about AKT. Second 6 months, start preparing gradually. AKT is a very challenging exam, from all we've seen and all that. So it's something you could pay attention and start preparing gradually. So I'll keep giving you updates on this channel, but I hope you found this video useful. One thing is this: do not lose your confidence. If you're able to survive through the medical school in Nigeria, you will survive through in the UK. Some of the small mess up you do, it's because you don't understand the system, so you will be fine. Take that from me, who has passed through that. But in everything, make sure you don't make any dangerous mistake. For anything you are not, it is rather that people look down on you, that you don't know what you're doing, that you make a mistake. Always ask questions. Ask. If Google cannot answer you, ask. I learn from everybody. I learn from nurses. Sometimes when nurses comes with me with something, I ask them, please, what would people normally do in this situation? Just because I'm new to the environment, I don't know how it should be handled. So update your medical knowledge, study and update yourself, and go to work every day motivated. No matter, even if the motivation is not every day, is not there, ask God for motivation. Like, ask God, let there be that inner motivation, because your energy shows. So there was a day I went to work. I thought I was going to have a teaching session because I was doing a QIP. I'm doing a QIP. And my supervisor sent me a message that patient has been booked in the morning. I thought that was my tutorial day, so I already made up my mind to do tutorial in the morning, so I can do. He said he was going to come a little bit late, so I was like, okay, I would have done 1 or 2 things about my QIP more. And then he sent me a message that the patient has been booked, and I came into the clinic. A full day clinic has been booked for me, so I had to message him, and I'm like, please, is there any reason? So he now reminded me that, remember that we said we'll be doing the teaching alternate day, and then he came in and said, do I want someone else to take over my patients? He said, no, I'm happy to see my patient. So this is always the mindset I go to work with. I am happy to work when I'm going to work. So, and it shows. And anytime maybe there's anything different from that mindset, people will notice it about you. And I'm like, no, why? I wanted to clarify why we didn't have the tutorial. That's all. And it's clear. I think it's because of our last discussion we had, I will be having tutorial. That was what confused me. Try to be at peace with your supervisor. Avoid supervisor breakdown. See, nothing will kill you. My supervisor told me that any Wednesdays we do not have teaching. I have to come to work. I never knew before at the early time. I thought Wednesdays are protected days, whether teaching or no teaching. But when he told me that normally as a natural human being, you may start feeling somehow, but do not feel somehow. See the positive in it. I made up my mind, okay, any Wednesday there is no teaching, I have to go. I will go there, make sure that, I do something productive also for myself, because it's supposed to be my academic time. So keep an open mind. Follow your supervisor. These people, I am sure, except very few of them, nobody is out to drag you down, but the energy you give can send a lot of different messages. So go out there positive, go out there willing to work. No matter the challenges you're facing in your family, do not let it to come in your work front in the UK. Leave family challenges at home. Take a very deep breath and go out there and face them. And trust me, I know you can do this. So once again, if you've not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, share this video, and click on the notification bell so that when I release the other videos, you'll be seeing it. And then guys too, I want you to also know that I have also introduced live streams that I am doing. If you're my friend in the UK, I want to ask you for a very special favor. Please, before you sleep every night, put my live stream my videos before you sleep, okay? Please, put them on streaming, let them be streaming while you sleep, my live. You could go to my playlist, I'll put them in my playlist, please stream them, okay? So, another good news, do you know why you have to stream my video, right? So, it is hard to make YouTube videos.